happier days continue to be here again, as the market ignored entirely a consumer price index number that really stunk up the joint, recognizing it for what it really was. An increase that's been nullified completely subsequently by one of the greatest commodity sell-offs in history. How amazing it that gold was down 19 bucks on the same day the CPI was up. That shows you its rearview mirror. In fact, I would say that today's action, which saw rallies in the financials, the retailers, the food and beverage companies, came on the back of still one more hideous, ugly day in oil and gas, as those two streams of energy, they keep cascading lower. People keep asking me, how do you play this happier days are here again theme? And I keep presenting you with new ways because they are numerous and they are exciting to invest in. Few companies benefit more than in this new lower inflation environment than the next one that I follow and own from my charitable trust, ActionAlertsPlus.com. It's McDonald's. Happier meals, of course. And few have better long-term growth paths than Mickey D. That's why I was so glad earlier today to get a chance to pull up with Jim Skinner. He's the transformative McDonald's CEO for a discussion about this company's great multi-year prospects. The analysts are so worried about the next 3 days. How about the next 3 years? I believe McDonald's will keep making you money for you and your kids for eons to come. I'm not violating my rules of buying homework. I am just saying that the homework will yield why you should stay long it. Let's take a look at Jim Skinner. Wherever I go, people are always saying, Jim, give me a stock. Give me something I can own, don't have to worry about it. Well, of course, we know to buy and do homework. But if you want to buy one stock and you don't want to have to worry about it, as I know from my charitable trust, you buy the stock of McDonald's. You have a newborn. Instead of buying a present, or why not give a share of McDonald's? Holiday season, give a share of McDonald's to, as I say, to anyone under 6. McDonald's, to me, is one of my favorite stocks, and as I write, I don't know a parent who hasn't taken a kid to McDonald's, if even just for the clean bathrooms. Hey, it's a service business. I like the food. Let's talk to the CEO, Jim Skinner. Jim, come on in. How are you?
Good, Jim. Good.
Why is it that why is it that we have confidence? What made your company so that we know that we can buy it? I don't believe in buying and putting away stocks, but I do with your stock.
Right.
Why?
Well, I think really it boils down to the people. We have the most talented people in the industry, all the way from the leadership into the restaurants and the managers of the restaurants. And our revitalization plan, our operating excellence plan, which revolves around the 5 Ps in terms of our performance and operating excellence. And we get better consistency around delivery today. Over the last 5 years, we've done a lot to the infrastructure of the business, re-imaging of the business, if you will, focusing on the customer in the restaurants, and delivering at the moment of truth at the front counter and drive-thru. Most important thing we do at McDonald's so that customers like you get the experience that they want.
Now, if you were, and I know you don't want to help the competition, but if you guys had a phenomenal turn, Starbucks has really lost its way. Howard Schultz has come back. He's striving, attempting to try to turn it around. If you didn't mind, could you just give him one tip because your turnaround's the greatest? I know you don't want to have him getting any share because you're killing him in coffee now, but what would you do if you were him?
Well, I get asked that question quite a bit now because we've been so successful.
Right.
I've asked about other brands and what would I do, what would I give them as relative to advice, and I always say the same thing. Look, I've got my hands full with McDonald's. We know what we did relative to revitalization, appropriate financial targets, because we had lost our way. And the fact is, focusing on the customer in the restaurants and being more relevant and doing everything you can do today to be better than you were yesterday. Right. And that's across the gamut. That's people, product, price, promotion, profitability, the efficiencies of the restaurants, but most importantly, for us, and the differentiator, is talent.
Okay.
We have a lot of long-term talent in the organization that have been around for many, many years. I've been here 37 years. I can point to any number of other leaders who have been around as long as I've been around.
Now, the people who manage money are saying to me, look, ask Skinner. His company's so dollar sensitive. If the dollar were really to bottom and then start going up, don't you think it would be really bad for McDonald's? How much does it mean to you in terms of earnings translation, that kind of thing?
Well, it's significant today relative to the euro and the impact the euro's had. But the fact is, we've been in business for 53 years. We do have a bigger presence outside the United States today. But when you look at it across a number of years and the movement of the dollar up and down, we're able to operate in an environment with a strong dollar or a weak dollar. We're an American company. We watch the dollar, of course, and we also have some out contracts in some of our revenue streams relative to currencies. But, we go with the flow. We're capable of operating in either environment.
Now, the Wall Street Journal had a little article yesterday saying that people aren't flocking to the very expensive temporary restaurants you put up in China that they're for the Olympics. That they're not. The implication was they were not successful. Is that the media being negative?
I think it is a little bit the media being negative, looking for a soft spot relative to sponsorship in the Olympics. Right. I can only congratulate the Beijing Organizing Committee of the Olympic Games and the IOC, what they've done in China. I just came back from China, and as I mentioned to you earlier today, we have 101 McDonald's restaurants in the city of Beijing alone. Right. So this is 4 restaurants, one to feed the media, one to feed the athletes like we've fed them for 40 years. The media have to pay, by the way.
Well, that's probably why they say no one's there. They're the biggest freeloaders in the world.
Athletes free.
Right.
And one of the other restaurants is a larger restaurant, and yet we're satisfied with what we see there in the placement. It's an art, not a science. It's a 4-week project. All of those buildings will be recycled and reused in other restaurants as we grow out in China. Yesterday
we had the pleasure of having Eric Schmidt, the CEO of Google, on. He was saying packaged good companies, companies you never thought of advertising on the web, are moving our way. Is there bang for the buck for McDonald's on the web?
We've had a little bit of movement that way. We want to be relevant to our younger customers and, communicate with them about the brand. And so
I know your game board was on the Monopoly game was online.
The Monopoly game was online. We have a reality game tied in with the Olympics, The Lost Ring. So there's been a little bit of movement of that, but not substantial in terms of the significance of the communication around our brand.
Circling back to the analysts, why is it that they have continually underestimated your comp store sales? Where are they? The progression of comparable store sales has been rather amazing, but the analysts seem to think it either can't be kept up while they're always hopping off, or they didn't. They were probably the most off that I deal with for any company. What are they not seeing?
Well, I think what's happened over the last 5 years is we've gone to more franchising. We're about 80% franchised around the world today. We took a lot of volatility out of the income stream. So it's not so much about the comparable sales where they miss it, but I think really in terms of what accretes is accretive to the bottom line with the stability of our franchising around the world. And of course, the momentum that we have around the relevance for our customers today, when you have the convenience and the value, and the new food news that we have. So if you look at chicken snack wraps and some of the things that we've done around the world, we have a food studio in every part of the world relative to what's going to be relevant in that marketplace. And the growth continues because of that focus on that flywheel, that plan to win, if you will, that I mentioned earlier. Okay. And operations excellence. And the leadership around the world, they're all tied into this plan to win, and that's our leverage relative to performance.
Let me ask you culturally something that if you deal with a lot of younger people, I have kids, and they say, well, Americans, we're not liked abroad. I don't think there's any brand that signifies America more than McDonald's. You're everywhere. You go to all these countries. Aren't we hated?
No, absolutely not. We're not hated there at all. As a matter of fact, everyone is excited about the fact they're going to get a McDonald's in their town. I've been all over the world. I opened all the restaurants in the Middle East, Africa, India. I ran Europe, and they like McDonald's, and they like Americans and American products. Even protesting. Jean Beauvais, who ended up in jail for protesting, they burnt down a McDonald's, or they attacked a McDonald's. When they were all done and the cameras went away, they drove away in their John Deere tractors. They were wearing Levi's, and they ate at McDonald's. So,
let me ask you this question. We're having a tough time in this country, but your sales are up. That says to me, other than Walmart, I don't know anyone who is really and truly thriving in this environment. Is it fair to say that perhaps because of your price point and the value you offer, that you are as close to recession-proof as we're going to find of a company that is not a drug company or healthcare company?
Well, we like to say, Jim, that we're recession-resistant, not recession-proof.
That's very good.
We do better in a better economy like everybody else. How much different would our sales be today if the economy was robust? I don't know. But we are able to operate in this environment because of the convenience and the value that we offer. And we got to stay the course on the value. We can't abandon our customers now.
No.
They shouldn't have to come to McDonald's and suffer the same fate that you suffer at the grocery stores.
No, very true. Jim Skinner, transformational CEO.
Yep.
Congratulations for all the money you've made for all the people who watch Made Money.
Thank you, Jim.
McDonald's. Stay with Cramer.